Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Beaky, and I have returned for your entertainment to make videos related to the video game industry with E3 2018 right around the corner. So, let's talk about Rage 2 for today, and how can this game separate itself from all the releases coming out every single day on Steam, Xbox Live, PSN? What can it do different from all the other first-person shooters, and how can it excel from some of the mistakes that were made in Rage 1? But before we talk about the future, let's actually go back and take a look at something from the past. Rage 1 official gameplay trailer. So if you guys are looking at this right now, the game still looks pretty cool. This is a pretty nicely put together trailer, but it's something we've seen before. A person slowly walking through a city, talking to other NPCs, getting some little bit of story details. Then they're going to go into an area where they're going to fight somebody with a gun. The hero's going to start being a bad guy, use some of his abilities, and post-apocalyptic kind of a dank environment. Even though there is some color here, this is all things we've seen from the video game industry over the last 8+ years for a long time now. So Rage needs to stand out and do something different to make itself be, well, buyable. That's what I really feel like. And I think one way that this game, the new one coming out, can stand out is actually enhancing a problem they had with the first game, which was the car combat. If you think about the AAA industry right now, that's actually something that's kind of missing. There's no really big AAA game out there doing car combat very well. Mechanic-wise, control-wise, a lot of them have a big problems with actually controlling and shooting at the same time. Even a game that I like for a lot that's actually in some ways similar to Rage in some combat scenarios like Borderlands. Like in the Borderlands series, you could drive around in cars, you could shoot some of those cars, but I never felt the combat in cars were all that great. And I feel like Rage could have really excelled on that the first game, but it just didn't. Even the sequence we've seen right now where he's about to shoot the electricity at the ground, shock everybody, stuff we've seen in the Bioshock games back on the PlayStation 3. So none of this was all that new even when this came out all those 7 years ago. So if we're going to be seeing the same type of things again from Rage 2, it's just not going to be enough to convince a lot of players to pick up the game unless the story has been involved to be such a great story, which I didn't feel like the Rage story 1 was that great of a story. So I really hope they actually just go really hard on the mechanics for car combat, make it a customizable buggies, customizable vehicles, really go really hard on making sure the controls are tight and precise so you can shoot, drive. If there's going to be multiplayer, you can co-op in there where you can get a friend to drive the car with you. I think if you excel in something like that where other video games are not doing right now, it could really work out quite well for this game. Because if you're not going to make yourself look different than everything else out there that's been coming out over the last 7+ years, you're just going to feel a lot of the same. Yes, great graphics, great good shooting, that's all definitely matters, but I'm trying to say, just by looking at the trailer we're seeing right here, this is all stuff we were seeing before Rage came out, the first one, and with Rage 2 coming out with a gameplay trailer tomorrow, I'm really hoping to see something that looks different than what we're seeing right here. Something formatted a little bit different, not in a sewer, not in a dank environment. Throw us outside, throw us some color, throw us some vehicles, throw us something exciting, something really cool, because this is just how the first trailer started out for gameplay. And I was just like, even back then I was like, I've done this before. I've definitely done stuff like this before. And like, there's even games that have like really changed this up, like brutal melee kills. Like even the Killzone franchise had that before. That really added that to the combat. There's been a bunch of games like the Doom games that had stuff like that too. So just shooting enemies up close with a shotgun is not enough to bring gamers to buy a game anymore. Even if the graphics are great, even if you're in a post-apocalyptic environment. So I think that they need to enhance something that they didn't focus too heavily on before, which is a car combat, because I think a lot of gamers out there would love to play games like those, especially if you're an N64 gamer, where there's a lot of games out there that used to have car combat. We just don't see those type of games anymore. So I'm hoping tomorrow when the Rage 2 official gameplay trailer comes out, we're going to see something outside. We're going to see something with freaking car combat. We're going to see something that we're not expecting to really make this game interesting. I just don't want to see a guy slowly walking down a hallway to talk to other NPCs in a big, luscious, city. And I mean, like I said, it looks nice, it looks fine, but we don't want the same thing. You need to stand out right now. With so many games being released in the video game industry day to day on Steam, indie games, you have so many competition for my money. I mean, I even recently went back and bought this right here. a game that I really wish I would have focused on when it first came out, Dying Light. I got the enhanced edition, and I'm really glad I went back to it. This was a really polished and cool game, was doing something really cool, and all the DLC they've added really made this game better than it was before. But when it first came out, I was like, man, I recently played the Dead Island games, and this felt like the Dead Island games again right away. The enhanced, I was at the time, I didn't feel like it stepped away from that enough. Of course, I had to play more into to get it, and once the enhanced edition, I picked it up, I realized, okay, it actually is a big step forward from the Dead Island games. But sometimes it's all about marketing and trailers, so they really need to show what makes it different from the first Rage, because if it's just going to be another trailer like this, walking through a cold, dank sewer, shooting bad guys from a distance, it's not going to do it for me. It really just isn't. I'm going to need more than that to want to pick this game up on day one, and I'm now, until I see gameplay with tomorrow, I'm not going to be sure that I'm going to pick up Rage on instant buy for me. And that's really hard for me. As somebody knows, I'm a big Bethesda fan for some of their games. A lot of the games I would just pick up immediately just because of, like, you know, how well they usually make games like Doom and so on and so forth. But Rage, it has to actually prove itself. So here's hoping tomorrow we see some cool car combat, something new, something outside of a dank, dark sewer with bad guys' bits blowing up. Because, come on, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen all that before. It's been here with the Untitled Game Show. What do you guys want to see from Rage? Do you guys want to see just the same old dark, dank hallway type trailer for gameplay, talking to some NPCs, or do you want to see something crazy new, or just something out of the left field that you were not expecting? I'm hoping for the old out of left field, something really cool and some really good car combat. Till next time, peace the heck out. I'm glad to be back, making a lot of E3 videos very soon. Later, guys.